How many times have you sat exactly there, staring at that list, promising yourself this year will be different? You'll finally get it right. You're not lazy. You're not broken. But let's be honest, you're tired. Tired of starting strong in January only to crumble by February. Tired of watching everyone else win while you're stuck in the same cycles of stress, guilt, and that quiet voice whispering, "What's wrong with me?" Here's the truth. Your goals aren't the problem. The problem is how you're fighting for them. You're using willpower like a cheap Band-Aid on a bullet wound. You're trying to fix your life while ignoring the storm inside your mind. The doubt, the fear, the why even try? 1,000 years ago, the Stoics faced wars, plagues, and betrayals. They didn't just survive, they thrived. Not by pretending pain didn't exist, but by forging a mindset no obstacle could break. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while journaling about his flaws. Epictetus, born a slave, taught kings. These weren't philosophers in ivory towers, they were soldiers of the soul. And their tools? They're yours now. This isn't another 10 productivity hacks video. This is a battle plan. 7 Stoic habits that don't just set goals. They rewire how you fight for them. So when life tries to sucker punch you, you don't just take the hit. You redirect the force. We'll talk about how to stop wasting energy on what you can't control, how to stare down your worst fears before they happen. Why gratitude isn't about saying thank you. It's about preparing to lose everything. So you fight like hell to keep it. This year, you don't need more motivation. You need warrior discipline. The kind that works when you're depressed, when your relationship is crumbling, when your boss belittles you. The kind that turns setbacks into fuel. If you're ready to stop being a prisoner of your excuses, to build habits that outlast your moods, to look in the mirror 365 days from now and finally say, "I kept my promises." Then let's begin. Habit 1. Control your circle of power. Let me tell you about a farmer who forgot his power. Every morning he'd beg the sky for rain. Every night he'd curse the gods for his dying crops, but he never noticed the weeds choking his fields, or the seeds he'd left unplanted. Sound familiar? We're all that farmer sometimes. We waste our energy screaming at storms we can't stop, toxic bosses, past mistakes, the way our partner should act. But Stoics knew a secret. Real power isn't controlling the world. It's mastering what's already in your hands. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond. Actionable steps. Step 1. The daily control check. Every morning, grab 2 pieces of paper. On the first, write 3 things you can't control. My boss's temper, my dad's approval, the economy. Now, burn it, literally. Watch it turn to ash. Those aren't your battles. On the second list, write 3 things you can control. How I prepare for the meeting. Calling mom without arguing. Drinking water first thing. Tape this to your mirror. This is your battlefield. Step 2. Reframe your goals. Stoics didn't chase outcomes, they mastered efforts. Your goal isn't get promoted, it's learn 1 new skill weekly. Not make him love me. Show up as the partner I respect. Why? Because effort is yours. Results aren't. Control your labor, not the harvest. Take Layla. She worked 60-hour weeks begging for a promotion. Her boss kept saying, "Next year." So she quit. No, she stopped groveling for his approval. For 90 days she focused only on what she controlled, upgraded her certifications, networked outside her department. Result: A rival company poached her for double the salary. Her old boss, still stuck in his petty kingdom. Every time you obsess over what you can't control, you hand your power to someone else. Your boss holds your peace of mind hostage. Your ex rents space in your head for free. But you're the farmer. Tend your soil. Let the rain come when it comes. I've been there, staring at my phone, waiting for them to text, obsessing over a layoff that might never happen. But here's what changed when I embraced this habit. I stopped feeling like a victim of my life. I became a warrior, not because my circumstances improved, because I finally learned where to aim my sword. Your circle of power grows when you stop fighting ghosts. Tonight, burn your uncontrollables. Then comment below, my battlefield is Inku. Let's see who you are when you stop begging the sky and start owning the ground beneath your feet. Habit 2. Premeditate adversity. What if I told you the key to crushing your goals isn't avoiding failure, but inviting it? Sounds crazy, right? But the Stoics had a practice called premeditatio malorum, premeditating adversity. And it's not about pessimism. It's about power. Here's the truth. Fear doesn't come from failure. It comes from uncertainty. The what if that paralyzes you before you even try. But what if you could strip fear of its power? What if you could walk into that interview, that gym, that conversation, already knowing how you'd handle the worst-case scenario? The obstacle is the way. Actionable steps. Step 1. The worst-case scenario. Exercise. Tonight, sit in a quiet room. Close your eyes. Imagine your biggest goal failing. You bombed the interview. She says no. You relapse. Now, write down exactly how you'd recover. If I lose this job, I'll freelance while applying elsewhere. If she rejects me, I'll focus on my friendships. Why does this work? Because when you've already lived through the worst in your mind, the real thing feels smaller. Okay, fear shrinks when you stare it down. Step 2. Embrace friction. Stoics didn't just think about adversity, they trained for it. Cold showers, fasting, walking barefoot. Not to punish themselves, but to build. Resilience. Start small. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Turn off notifications for an hour. Prove to yourself that discomfort won't kill you. Story. Meet Alex. He was terrified of public speaking. So he did something radical. He practiced his speeches in a park. At first, people stared. Some laughed. One guy even heckled him. But Alex kept going. By the time he gave his real presentation, the worst had already happened, and he'd survived. Guess who got the promotion? Life will throw storms at you. But here's the secret. You don't have to wait for them to hit. You can train in the rain. When you premeditate adversity, you're not preparing for failure. You're preparing for strength. I used to avoid risks like the plague. Asking for a raise? Too scary. Starting a YouTube channel? What if no one watched? But then I started this habit. I imagined the worst. What if I get rejected? What if I embarrass myself? And you know what? I realized I'd survive. More than that, I'd grow. Now, I don't just face fear, I use it, because every what if is a chance to prove who you are. Tonight, do the worst-case scenario exercise. Then comment below. My biggest fear is Yaskikun, but I'd survive by Mu. Let's turn your monsters into mentors. Habit 3. Practice reverse gratitude. What if I told you that gratitude isn't about counting your blessings, but losing them? The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, the practice of mentally stripping away what you love to rediscover its worth. And it's not about fear, It's about fire. We're all guilty of it. That job we resent but pays the bills. That partner we criticize but can't sleep without. That body we hate but carries us through each day. Reverse gratitude isn't toxic positivity. It's a wake-up call. What if today was the last day you had this? Enjoy present pleasures so that you become dependent on them as little as possible. Actionable steps. Step 1. The 5-minute funeral exercise. Every morning, pick one thing you take for granted. Your health, your job, your partner. Close your eyes. Imagine it's gone. Really gone. Your spouse left. Your legs stopped working. Your home vanished. Sit with that grief for 60 seconds. Then open your eyes. Suddenly, that annoying text from your dad? A miracle. That aching body? A gift. You don't know what you have until you've mourned it in advance. Step 2. Turn envy into fuel. Stoics didn't resent others' success. They dissected it. Next time envy hits. Why does she have the perfect relationship? Ask, what can I learn from her without losing myself? Maybe she listens more. Maybe she prioritizes date nights. Steal the lesson, not the jealousy. Take Alex. He hated his boring marriage until he did the unthinkable. He wrote his wife's eulogy. Emily laughed like thunderstorms. She stayed when I gave her every reason to leave. He read it aloud to her. They sobbed for hours. Today, he wakes up an hour early just to make her coffee. I stopped trying to fix her, he says. I started fighting for us. The things we ignore are the ones we'll miss the most. Your parents' voice, your knees that still bend, the peace of a full fridge. Reverse gratitude isn't morbid. It's clarity. It's realizing you've been standing in a garden while complaining about the weeds. I did this exercise after my brother died. I'd ignored his calls for weeks. Too busy. Now, I'd give anything for one more minute of his bad jokes. Don't wait for loss to teach you what's precious. Burn the illusion that you have time. You don't. None of us do. Gratitude isn't soft. It's the weapon of those who know how fragile life is. Tonight, write a 3-sentence eulogy for something you take for granted. Comment below, I'll never take durikaikois for granted again. Habit 4. The Morning Warrior Ritual. How you start your day is how you live your life. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations at dawn. Seneca journaled before the chaos of Rome woke up. Why? Because the morning isn't just a time, it's a battlefield. And if you don't claim it, the world will. Most people wake up and immediately surrender their power. They check emails, social media, the news, letting other people's agendas dictate their mood. But you're not most people. You're a warrior, and warriors don't start their day on defense. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive. Actionable steps. Step 1. The 10-minute Stoic sunrise. Before you touch your phone, sit in silence. Ask yourself 3 questions. What's within my control today? What adversity might I face? How will I stay aligned with my values? Write your answers in a journal. Not a novel, just a sentence or 2. This isn't about perfection, it's about intention. Step 2. Avoid digital dopamine. The first hour of your day is sacred. No emails, no social media, no news. Why? Because your brain is a sponge in the morning. Fill it with your priorities, not someone else's chaos. Win the morning, and the day has no choice but to surrender. Take Sarah, single mom. 2 jobs, no time for herself, or so she thought. Then she started waking up 30 minutes earlier. Just 30 minutes. She'd journal, stretch, and plan her day before the chaos began. Within weeks, she felt like a different person. "I realized I wasn't drowning," she said. "I was just letting the waves hit me first." The morning is your chance to reset, to remind yourself who you are and what you're fighting for. It's not about being productive. It's about being present. Because when you start the day centered, even chaos can't knock you off course. I used to hate mornings. I'd snooze my alarm, check my phone, and rush into the day feeling like I was already behind. Then I tried this ritual, and something shifted. I stopped feeling like a victim of my schedule. I started feeling like a general leading my own army. You don't need more time. You need more purpose. And it starts the moment you open your eyes. The morning is your armor. Wear it well. Tomorrow, set your alarm 15 minutes earlier. Do the Stoic sunrise. Then comment below, "My morning ritual is ahur." Let's build an army of early risers. Habit 5. Master your desires. Desire isn't the problem. Unchecked. Desire is. The Stoics knew this. They didn't preach deprivation. They preached mastery. Because here's the truth. You are not your cravings. You are the warrior who chooses to walk away. We all have desires. Some are natural: food, connection, rest. Others are self-destructive: numbing, escaping, consuming. The difference: one serves your purpose, the other enslaves you, and every time you give in to the wrong desire, you hand a piece of your power away. No person is free who is not master of themselves. Actionable steps. Step 1. The 30-Day Hunger Games. Pick one craving that's holding you back: junk food, porn, impulse shopping. For 30 days, cut it out completely. Not to punish yourself, to prove you're stronger than your impulses. Desires are like fire. Controlled, they warm you. Uncontrolled, they burn you. Step 2. Ask the Stoic question. Before you give in to a craving, ask, "Does this desire serve my purpose or enslave me?" If it's the latter, walk away. Not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to say no. Meet Jake. He spent years numbing his pain with alcohol. Every night he'd promise to quit. Every morning he'd wake up ashamed. Then he tried the 30-Day Hunger Games. No alcohol, no excuses. The first week was hell, but by day 30, something shifted. "I realized I wasn't addicted to alcohol," he said. "I was addicted to avoiding myself." Today, he's 2 years sober and runs a support group for others fighting the same battle. Desires aren't evil. They're signals. A craving for junk food might mean you're stressed. A craving for porn might mean you're lonely. Listen to the signal, but don't let it control you. You're not a slave to your body. You're its master. I used to think discipline was about saying no to everything, but it's not. It's about saying yes to the right things. Your health, your relationships, your purpose. Every time you walk away from a craving, you're not depriving yourself. You're reclaiming your freedom. And freedom, that's the ultimate high. Master your desires, and you master your life. Tonight, pick one craving to cut for 30 days. Comment below, "I'm walking away from warrantier kins." Let's build an army of self-masters. Habit 6. Journal like a philosopher king. The Stoics didn't just think about their lives, they examined them. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, wrote his meditations not for fame, but for clarity. Because here's the truth: if you don't reflect on your life, you'll repeat it. And repetition without growth is the definition of stagnation. Most people go through life like sleepwalkers. They react instead of reflect. They blame instead of grow. But you're not most people. You're a philosopher king in training, and your journal is your throne. I examine my entire day and review my actions and words. Actionable steps. Step 1. The evening 3 questions. Every night before bed, ask yourself, where did I act with courage today? 2. Where did I let fear rule me? What will I do better tomorrow? Write your answers in a journal. Not a novel, just a sentence or two. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Step 2. Write letters to your future self. When you're angry, write a letter to your future self about why. When you're happy, write a letter about how you got there. Seal them. Read them months later. You'll be amazed at what you learn. Your journal is a mirror. Stop lying to it, and it'll stop lying to you. Take Maria. She was stuck in a toxic relationship, blaming herself for everything. Then she started journaling. Every night she'd ask the 3 questions. Slowly, she began to see patterns. I let him disrespect me because I was afraid of being alone. I stayed silent because I didn't think my voice mattered. Today, she's single, thriving, and helping others find their voice through journaling. My journal didn't fix my life, she says. It showed me I was worth fixing. Your journal isn't a diary. It's a battlefield. Every word you write is a strike against ignorance, fear, and self-deception. And every night you reflect is a step closer to the person you're meant to be. I used to think journaling was for poets and philosophers. Then I hit rock bottom. I was angry, lost, and blaming everyone but myself. One night I picked up a pen and started writing. Not to vent, but to understand. And slowly, the chaos in my mind began to clear. Your journal isn't just a habit, it's a lifeline. Reflection is the weapon of the wise. Tonight, grab a notebook. Ask yourself the 3 questions. Comment below. One thing I'll do better tomorrow is instein nitu. Let's build an army of self-reflectors. Habit 7. Serve something bigger. The Stoics didn't just seek inner peace, they sought purpose. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but he saw himself as a servant. Epictetus, born a slave, taught kings to lead with humility. Why? Because they knew a secret. The fastest way to find meaning isn't to chase it, it's to give it. We're all guilty of it. We get so caught up in our own struggles, our careers, our relationships, our goals, that we forget the world doesn't revolve around us. But here's the truth. Your pain shrinks when your purpose grows. And purpose, it's found in service. What we do now echoes in eternity. Actionable steps. Step 1. Connect goals to legacy. Ask yourself, who suffers if I quit? Who thrives if I persist? Maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your community, maybe it's a stranger you'll never meet. When your goals are bigger than you, failure stops being an option. Step 2. Serve anonymously. Volunteer without posting about it. Donate without expecting thanks. Help without needing recognition. Why? Because true service isn't about ego, it's about impact. Text on screen. When your why is a fire, no how will exhaust you. Take Andy. He was a burned-out CEO, drowning in stress and self-doubt. Then he started volunteering at a homeless shelter. Not for PR, for perspective. I thought I had it rough, he said. Then I met people who'd lost everything but still found joy. Today, he runs his company with a new mission. Not just to profit, but to serve. And his employees? They've never been more loyal. Service isn't charity, It's clarity. When you stop fighting only for yourself, you realize how much you're capable of. And when you give without expecting anything in return, you receive something priceless. Purpose. I used to think success was about money, status, and power. Then I lost it all. And in my darkest moment, a stranger helped me. Not because they had to, but because they could. That act of service changed my life. Now, I measure success by how much I give, not how much I have. And you know what? I've never felt richer. Your legacy isn't what you take, it's what you leave behind. This week, do one act of service, big or small. Comment below, I served by used to. Let's build an army of givers. Let's take a moment to reframe the way you've been thinking about these habits. These aren't just quick fixes or life hacks. No, this is a Phoenix protocol. Think of it like this. You've been living with the old version of yourself, habits formed over time, habits that may have weighed you down, but now, you stand at the precipice of something much greater. It's time to burn the old you, destroy what's no longer serving you, and then rise stronger. With every habit you master, you're shedding a layer of doubt, insecurity, and self-sabotage. The flame of change will purify you, and what emerges from the ashes will be someone far more powerful. But transformation doesn't happen all at once. It's not about trying to master everything at once. That's the trap. So here's what I want you to do. Pick one habit today. Don't wait. Don't push it off to tomorrow or next week. Today. One habit. Whether it's waking up earlier, cutting out distractions, or committing to more consistent action in one area of your life. Choose that one thing and start mastering it. Because here's the truth. If you can master this one habit, you've unlocked the gateway to mastery in every area of your life. One small step at a time. And when you've conquered it, come back here. I'll be waiting for you with your next battle plan. The thing is, you're not alone in this. Everyone has their struggles, their doubts, their moments where it feels easier to give up than push forward. But the world doesn't need the version of you that's stuck, the version buried, under self-doubt, guilt, or unfulfilled dreams. The world needs the real you, the you that can confront fear, overcome procrastination, and face the challenges head-on. The you who pushes through discomfort and chooses to rise no matter the circumstances. This isn't just about personal development. It's about embracing your full potential. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy you read about or admire from afar. It's a war cry. It's a declaration that you will not be passive in your own life. You will not stand by while time slips away. And this year, this is your year. You will answer that call. You will take action. So let's take one last look at that crumpled New Year's goals list. The one you tossed aside because it felt overwhelming, because you couldn't see how to start, because it felt too much like a distant dream. Now, picture that list smoothed out, perfectly aligned with check marks next to everything you've accomplished. It's possible, and it starts today with that one habit. You don't need to do everything right now. Just take the first step, and remember, this is not a destination. This is a lifelong commitment. You don't just rise once and stop. You rise again and again, stronger with each cycle. So go ahead. Pick that habit today. Your future self is waiting for you on the other side. It's time to step into your greatness.